G'day there guys, not actually funny and uses deadpan humor as a crutch here, back at it again with another episode of r/am I the a-hole. Now if you love today's content like I love you, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a like on the video, a prawn on the Barbie, and get ready for some bloody good content. Posted by user ThrowRA titled, Am I the a-hole for publicly shaming my boyfriend for his weight? Yes, I know the title sounds bad. When I started dating my boyfriend 2 years ago, he was slim and fit. Now, he is far from that. He weighs about 17 stone, 240 pounds, at 5'10". I'm not very attracted to him at this point, but we stay together because we get along well and we care for each other a lot. We haven't had sex in maybe 4 months, and he doesn't even try anymore. He gained 1.5 stone in quarantine. I'd have sex with him if he lost at least 2 stone, but he can't even be bothered to do that. It's frustrating and embarrassing for me. I'm into fitness, and I want a partner that at least looks somewhat healthy. I know this sounds mean, but his body really disgusts me. I tried to make healthy meals for him, and he eats them, but then he just eats more later. He drinks beer a lot too, which doesn't help. His eating habits are terrible. I know he's extremely insecure and hates how he looks, so I decided I had to play on that. The only way his behavior seems to change is when he is shamed, so I've started bringing up his weight in public because bringing it up in private doesn't seem to do anything. We went out for dinner with friends, and he was going to get some high-calorie dish, and I commented, "But what about your diet?" I brought up the amount of calories in the food and listed off everything else he had eaten that day, in a joking way so that everyone laughed. He laughed along, but I knew he would be hurt, and he ended up choosing a low-calorie option. He later told me how humiliated that made him feel, and said that I made him feel disgusting. I said he wasn't disgusting, but his weight and the amount he eats is, and if he doesn't want to change, I can't force him, but that won't stop me from talking about it. He then said he was trying to lose weight, and I just rolled my eyes because clearly he wasn't. After that, I started commenting on his weight and what he's eating most times we went out, and he became even more ashamed. He tries to hide his body from me now. Last week, he started water fasting, where you don't eat and only drink water, and he has lost weight. So clearly me speaking to him finally worked. I wish I didn't have to do this, but I only did it because I care about his health, and speaking nicely wasn't working. I felt like I had no other option. I know I hurt his self-esteem, but once he loses weight, I will be sure to praise him and say he looks good so he feels better about himself again. Am I the a-hole for doing this? I feel slightly bad, but I know my intentions were good, and I'm pretty sure he will be better off for it. Yes, you're the a-hole for doing this. He's not seeing your intentions, he's seeing your actions, and it's just coming off as very malicious. This is not a healthy relationship dynamic between the both of you, OP, and I think you know that, but you're continuing to do so. Don't know why you're still in the relationship if you continue to torment him, but that's your choice. I wouldn't do this if I were you. You are the a-hole. Edit. Okay, I get it. I'm the most evil person ever. I'm going to apologize to him, but I'm not going to break up with him over this unless he wants to. Mods, can I lock this post? Edit. 21 hours after posting. Okay, this blew up. Not really sure what I can say. Guess I'm the most hated person on this subreddit ever? I know I was wrong to go about things in the way I did. I'll try and get him to diet in a healthier way, and if he gives up on it, I will have to break up with him, because manipulating your partner is bad, even if you did it in their best interest. By the way, don't bother messaging me hate, I won't respond. You're the a-hole. Hugely so. Also, I'm into fitness. No, you aren't. If you were, you wouldn't be pressuring your boyfriend into an unhealthy crash diet. This is about your shallowness, nothing more. You don't care one bit about his health, physical or mental. Yeah, OP is abusing him. Poor dude. Yeah, OP should leave him so the guy can lose some toxic waste. You are not gross, it's just your body is gross. Yikes. The boyfriend is literally starving himself while spiraling into a crater of self-hatred, and OP is celebrating. She tacks on the obligatory health concern line right at the end, having seemingly forgotten her opening paragraph about needing to bone someone's swole. Worst of all, she won't even do the decent thing and dump him so he can find someone who actually loves him. I wish I could reach out through the internet, find this guy, and give him a bear hug. If you happen to find this post, you deserve so much better, dude. Next time, pick a partner who builds you up, not tears you down. And at the end, she says, "Don't worry, when he starts looking attractive to me again, I'll give him praise and validation." Like she's just training a dog or something. Jesus. You can see how the OP is with the edit. Not really accepting or understanding, just, okay, I get it. Do you, OP? Truly? They say I'm going to apologize to him. He really needs more than this. Understanding, aid, from therapy, doctor's visits, etc. The boyfriend is starving for the OP. But I'm not going to break up with him over this unless he wants to. Not even recognizing the damage? Is the boyfriend in a position to be healthy enough to break it off? No. The OP pressures and manipulates. The OP is horrible, and I hope the boyfriend can realize this. Reading this post could help more than whatever apology is cobbled together. OP, you're the a-hole, and somehow, do you truly care? Posted by user DaisyChained89. Titled, Am I the a-hole? Telling my parents to pay me back my college tuition if they want a relationship. I was raised by parents who believed, religiously and just culturally, in rigid gender roles. Dad should work, Mum should stay home with the kids, and I'm the only girl and have 3 brothers. Because of their expectation, I'd stay home with kids. They never valued my education, educational achievements, or emphasized things beyond domestic skills. I'm the second youngest, and by the time I was in high school, my 2 older brothers had gone to the college of their choice, with my parents fully covering tuition, books, an off-campus apartment, and other living expenses. They eventually did the same for my younger brother. I was told I wasn't allowed to apply for college. I did so in secret and got accepted with a partial scholarship. I didn't tell them I was moving out until a week before I left, with essentially nothing but what a few friends gave to me that their parents bought them for college. I took engineering and had to work, take on debt, and struggle. My parents and I have barely spoken for years. I'm married now and expecting our first child, and they asked to meet up. We met at a park, and they said they were sorry if they caused me pain, but would like a relationship now. I asked them specifically what they were sorry for. They wouldn't elaborate and just said they wanted to move forward. I said that wasn't sufficient. In the end, I said they could prove they were sorry by forwarding me the $100,000 my degree and college expenses were, just like they did for my brothers. My mum burst into tears, my dad said I wasn't being serious, and I just left. Since then, I've been getting calls from my brothers telling me I'm being immature and hurtful, and I don't think so at all. So, am I the a-hole? No, that is heartbreaking what you've gone through. They won't admit to you what they did wrong. They're not genuinely sorry. They just want you to forgive them and move forward, and they're not going to give you any reparations for what they've done? That's just unacceptable. The abuse continues in this instance, and I don't blame you for cutting them off. The brothers are brainwashed, it seems, by these parents, and it doesn't seem like they actually care about the effects these parents have had on you. Screw them, screw the parents, screw that family. They need more time to think about what they've done. Godspeed, OP. Not the a-hole. Helen Dang Nation says, not the a-hole. Hi from another engineer from a family filled with rage that she has all the talent that the boy was never up to. As far as I can see, your answer to them was perfect. It was very fair, and if they have fixed their appalling bigotry issues, they would be falling all over themselves begging you to take the money. Since they clearly have not fixed their bigotry, you don't want them around your child. Never ever poison children by allowing bigots in their presence. No exceptions. That includes your bigoted brothers. Edited to add, I have a bachelor's, master's, and doctorate, all in engineering. You have no idea how angry this makes them. Hopefully, you will too, and we can all watch the bigots faint from sheer rage together. Bwahahaha. Exactly. They aren't sorry for how they treated OP, they just want to be able to have access to their grandkid. So they can abuse it if it's a girl, and turn it into a bigot no matter what. I wouldn't go that far. Many parents want to dote on their grandkids. They don't necessarily have a nefarious plan to brainwash them, but they probably have some sort of particular desire to see OP be a mother, and perhaps even a fear that she won't be a good one because of her independent streak. And while they don't want to turn her into a bigot, they will certainly try to impose their own notion of gender roles onto her. There is a whole fascinating world out there of abusive parents who have been cut off by their children, who believe they have something called grandparents' rights to be in their grandkids' lives. I can understand the notion that having grandchildren that are turned against you, that you never have the option to meet, can be extremely painful. But the forums are filled with narcissists unable to acknowledge their own bad behavior. I don't know, maybe we're saying the same thing. I just try to have some degree of sympathy for even the worst people in these situations and try to understand it from their perspective. Even if they are deluded and dangerous. There was a story a while ago about a grandmother who didn't believe her grandchild really had a peanut allergy. I still think it's useful to understand their motivations and that they too live in their self-created worlds where they are the good guys. While they might not go in with the intent of abusing more children, history more than likely repeats itself because that's what abusers do with defenseless little kids, especially narcissistic grandparents. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Posted by user Bad Quilter Aunt. Titled, Am I the a-hole for making my nephew a dinosaur quilt? My sister is deeply Christian. My sister and I were not raised religious. She went off to uni at 18 and became a Christian when she started dating another Christian. Basically, the point is, she doesn't believe anymore that dinosaurs exist. She's now married to a man who isn't religious, which is a sore point for her that he won't convert. I have a niece, 9, and a nephew, 6. A couple of weeks ago, while watching them, my nephew mentioned his quilt that I made him was getting too short. So I told them both to go into my craft room and pick some fabrics they each want on a quilt. I could easily open a fabric shop with all the fabric I have, so they had a rare time picking out the fabrics. My niece went for some space and galaxy themed, and my nephew picked out some dinosaur fabrics. I thought nothing of it and got to work. Today I went over with their quilts, excited to see their reaction. They were so happy until my sister noticed my nephew's quilt and asked, "What the hell?" I was confused, and she quickly went on a rant about her knowing dinosaurs don't exist, and how dare I try to brainwash her child like that. I told her he picked out the fabric himself. I genuinely didn't make the connection, and I would let him pick more fabric for a different quilt. By this point, my nephew was crying, saying he doesn't want a different quilt, so my sister called my brother-in-law, telling him to set me straight. He basically shrugged and asked what the big deal was. It's only fabric. Their son likes the fabric, it's his son too, and he believes in dinosaurs, so he should get a say on the quilt too if it's such a big deal. My parents are now involved, and despite not being religious, they are ticked at me for what I've done. No one but my brother-in-law believes it was a genuine mistake or oversight, and they think I've set out to mock my sister's beliefs. I honestly didn't think I'd have to vet my nephew's fabric choices with my sister, as all the fabric they had access to was kid-friendly prints. The stuff with swearing, etc. is kept elsewhere, as they like going into my craft room. So no, I don't think OP is the a-hole for this one. I think the sister is just being way overly sensitive. I can see why the sister believes that OP is an a-hole. She's not judging OP based on her intents in this one, as discussed in that last story. She just sees it as a personal attack against her and her faith. I can respect that. I don't think it's right though. I think she needs to see it for what it is, like the husband is seeing it for what it is. And she needs to get over herself. It's just some dinosaurs on some fabric. This is not an attack on her. This is not an attack on her kids and their beliefs. OP is not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. If she's so sure dinosaurs aren't real, what's the problem? Would she be ticked if a unicorn fabric was picked? Or dragons? Not the a-hole. Exactly. I hate to be that person, but unicorns did exist. Everyone knows they just didn't make it onto the ark. What most people don't know is that Noah actually barred them entry due to their political alliances with the Fae. Really makes you think, that one. Or Sinus the Hedgehog or Pikachu, not the a-hole. When you ask your mum for the new Sonic game for Christmas and this is what she brings home from the bargain bin. Stourbees says, Lamau, I don't believe in dragons, but my son has dragon sheets. Not the a-hole for an array of reasons. The simplest being that you did something nice by making the quilt and letting the child pick out the fabric. It must take a lot of effort to not believe in dinosaurs. She seriously left university a different person. We were so surprised she married someone who isn't on the same page as her when it comes to religion. The kids are quite confused when it comes to religion, as mum's telling them one thing and dad another. Posted by user Spacey Panda C, titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to drive my mum anywhere because she refused to teach me how to drive? When I was a kid, my mum refused to teach me how to drive. She did teach my older brother. Throughout my time in college, I constantly asked her to teach me, and she always gave me excuses. My car's too expensive. I don't want you to crash it. I'm a bad passenger. You need more courses from an instructor. I completed those. After a while, I gave up. In my 20s, I didn't bother getting my license because I had to pay for tuition. I couldn't afford all the costs that were associated with a car like gas, monthly payments, insurance, and on top of all of that, driving lessons. So I spent my 20s not knowing how to drive. I'm in my 30s now, and I got a car and paid for lessons a couple of years ago. My mum has been asking me to drive her places from time to time, and I just don't think it's fair. She called me out on it today, and I said I'd never drive her because she had the ability to teach me, but chose not to when I was young. She said I'm being selfish, and it wasn't her responsibility to teach me. It's something adults just learn. Yet, she taught my brother. So I put my foot down and said stop asking. I had to hire instructors so she can call a taxi. I think fair is fair in this situation. I think she intentionally put so many roadblocks in front of OP that OP just gave up. And that is genuine gaslighting there, saying it wasn't her responsibility, saying that OP is selfish, yet the brother got taught how to drive. I think that's unacceptable behavior by the mum, and she knows exactly what she's doing. She can take this big L that OP is giving them, and she can suck it up. OP is not the a-hole. She should ask your brother. Why does she need that anyway? Can't she drive anymore? I really don't know. She can drive as far as I'm aware. We never had a good relationship, so it feels like she's only reaching out when she wants something. It's control, dude. She needs to periodically pop into your life and show you who is boss. But you're the boss now. Exactly. She could call an Uber. But it's so much more fun to inconvenience her daughter. Not the a-hole. In most countries, driving is something parents teach their kids to do while they are still living at home, and she chose not to do this because she found it inconvenient. Well, she made her bed, now she can lie in it. Damn, I wish I lived in these most countries. For most people here, a driving school teacher charges at around £20 a lesson. I spent about £400 on that. I'm sorry? I've only lived here in the US, where mum and dad take you on a few spins around an empty Walmart parking lot, and then send you on your way on the freeway with your teenage friends, all of whom text you while you're driving. You could have saved a ton. And you passed your test just by doing that? I changed my mind. I never want to drive in the US. No wonder I saw so many car accidents while I was there for 2 weeks. Not the a-hole. Adults just learn how to drive. I'm sorry, what? There's a lot more to driving a car than just flipping it into gear and pressing the gas pedal, and it's 100% her responsibility to teach her children how to be responsible, successful adults, and teaching them how to drive a car is one of them. Posted by user AmiTheA Throwaway 982. Titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to sell back the portion of the property I bought out from my sister? I, 32 female, and sister, 35 female, inherited this apartment from our grandmother. We owned it 50-50. It wasn't in a very nice part of town, a bit run down. When I was 28, my sister ran into a bit of financial trouble. I helped her as much as I could, but it just wasn't feasible for me to keep giving her cash in the long term. Her credit was shot, so she couldn't get a loan either. I ended up buying out her share of the apartment at market rate. I got the apartment, and her financial troubles were eased. In the past 4 years, that neighborhood has gone through a lot of changes. Increased government funding, better schools, etc. has made crime go down and driven property prices up. So the value of the apartment has risen substantially, compared to when I bought her out. This has created a lot of conflict in our relationship. She wants me to either pay her the difference between what I paid for the apartment back then and its value now, or B, let her buy back her 50%, but at the price I bought her out 4 years ago, or C, pay her half of the rent I get from tenants. I refused. I don't want to go through that again. Due to the pandemic, the government is paying me my rent so that tenants don't have to pay and landlords can continue to pay their mortgages. We have been bickering back and forth over it, and it's honestly very exhausting. This is just another one of those situations where money changes people, and it is very unfortunate that the sister is so money-oriented that she believes she's entitled to half of the apartment now that it's doing so well. Too bad, so sad for the sister. She sold her rights. You morally and legally do not owe her anything. She's just trying to chance you for money. And I guess that's a her problem, not a you problem, OP. It doesn't sound like she's particularly struggling from the way you put it. So continue on your way. You're not the a-hole. If she had sold it to a stranger, would she expect the same options now? Of course not. But this is family. Which means all logic and legalities go out the window, and OP must act like a doormat and screw themselves financially. Not the a-hole. When the situations arise, it seems like the question is how much the OP values their relationship with their family members. While completely not the a-hole, if OP values the relationship with their sister, value with a $sign, not subjective emotional value, some mutually beneficial compromise might be in order. Depending on the profit from their ownership stake, OP could offer to put a 25% of the revenue from the apartment in a donor-advised fund or family scholarship to benefit any potential children that either they or their sister have. That goes both ways though. Just asking? No, actually, practically demanding that she pay up will leave a sour taste in OP's mouth and negatively affect the relationship. What about the sister asking for the free money? The OP took the risk and financial burden. Let's say she lost her ass on it, which is just as likely to have happened. Would the sister be so kind to give her the difference in losses to keep it even? I mean, what a ridiculous entitled expectation from the sister on this one. Not the a-hole, she just has regrets and wants some of that cheddar. Yes, exactly this. If the property loses value, she would probably say that it was a good thing that she got out, and wouldn't even think about helping out OP for the sake of evenness. I split my house with my ex after we divorced. For 7 years, I did all the work of prepping it for tenants, finding tenants, going over to the house to fix things, paying the mortgage when there were no tenants, and then I just moved back in and took care of the house by myself financially. We'd only lived in it together for 3 years before we had to move, for military. He wanted to sell after owning the house for 5, to which, in hindsight, I should have bought him out at market value. When we finally sold, he wanted half the money, even though he had done none of the work to hold on to it until the value doubled. We finally agreed on a 60-40 split, even though I'd put in over 70% of the finances and work. I see the same thing here. She got out before it could be a liability and for her own personal gain. Let you do all the hard work, because renting is definitely not easy, and then wants to come back in and take equity out of your investment. Is she going to want half if and when you sell as well? Don't do it. Don't let someone manipulate you. Posted by user doot titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my roommate's girlfriend that I won't wear more clothing in my own home just because she's uncomfortable? I, 24 female, live with 2 roommates, Carrie and Ben. Carrie has been staying with her family for a while, so it's just been Ben and me. Since Carrie has been gone, Ben's girlfriend Allie has been basically living with us. We live in Arizona, where it's usually extremely hot. Recently, we've had trouble with our air conditioning, so it's been pretty miserably hot in the house. I work from home now, and most days I either wear my pajamas or my workout clothes. To give an example of what my pajamas look like, they pretty much look like what this model is wearing, except with a longer tank top. I also don't wear a bra when I'm home, because screw that. Yesterday, Ben was at work, and I was working in the living room wearing my pajamas and no bra, and Allie came in and asked if she could talk to me. She asked if I could please change into something a little less revealing before Ben got home, because it makes both him and her uncomfortable with the lack of clothing that I wear around the house. I told her that if it makes Ben so uncomfortable, he can tell me himself, but that I still won't change what I'm going to wear in my own home, because it's not like I'm naked. Plus, it's hot as hell. I reminded Allie that she doesn't technically live here, and it's not her place to dictate what I wear in my own home. I also added that it's not my fault if she's uncomfortable by what I wear. Allie told me that since it's just Ben and me living here at the moment, that I should be more respectful and put on more clothes and wear a bra because she's uncomfortable, and that it probably makes Ben uncomfortable too. I told her sorry, but it's not really my problem. Am I the a-hole for refusing to put on more clothes in miserable heat? I say, Allie can get over herself, and you're not an a-hole for this one. I can see why both of them have, a problem with it, but I would have a problem with them judging me in my own home when I'm just trying to work and do my own thing. Judging by what OP has given us as a model, I think that's more than acceptable clothing to be wearing in the house, and they can just ignore OP if they'd like. They don't make the rules around here. The air conditioner isn't working, and it's Arizona heat. That's a triple whammy, that's a triple no thank you from me. So if those two want her to wear something less revealing, they can go ahead and fix the aircon first, I say. Not the a-hole OP. And I'm willing to bet Ben never actually complained. She waited until he wasn't there and switched up her story. To be honest, she just sounds jealous. Guaranteed, Carrie brought it up to Ben, and he just said, "Oh yeah, totally, I'm way uncomfortable," just to stay out of trouble. Not the a-hole, I'm not even sure Ben said anything at all. Allie went from, "it makes him and her uncomfortable," to, "she's uncomfortable and it probably makes Ben uncomfortable too," in a single conversation. I would bet money Ben has absolutely no clue that that conversation was happening. And her discomfort almost certainly stems from insecurities. I find it pretty unlikely that this is the first time OP has been wearing short clothes in the house. What are the chances that someone in Arizona doesn't spend most of the summer going around in shorts and a tank top? Or the first time Ben has seen her in PJs? And he has seemingly been fine so far. Suddenly his girlfriend moves in, and it's an issue? Definitely a her problem, and she really should have more trust in her boyfriend. Not the a-hole, and it would be completely reasonable if you tell Ben that you are not comfortable having guests in the apartment without the person they are visiting. This is a great point. Why is Allie even hanging out when Ben isn't there? She needs to start paying rent, or they should get their own place. Yeah, I just thought about this. Imagine being left alone in someone's apartment, and then having the audacity to approach their roommates and tell them what to do. So messed up. Not the a-hole. It's hot and you aren't naked. Plus, you're in your own home. She doesn't live there. If Ben were to talk to you personally, I might consider it, but it sounds more like a case of jealous girlfriend to me. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to end today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something that you didn't know before. If you haven't already, please do feel free to click that like button, as it really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already and you love today's video, please feel free to subscribe. I would love it a lot. Also, big shout out to all my Patreon members and channel subscribers. You guys are all up on the screen right now. I love you. I love your faces. Also, I love seeing you guys all chatting down below in the comments. It brightens my day to see the stories that you guys share and just the kind words you guys always have for my videos, as well as everyone else in the videos. I love you too. But honestly, your ongoing support means the world to me, and I just love it so much that you guys are able to support a career for myself that I invest so much time into. And you guys honestly motivate me to work harder each and every day to put more love into the videos for you guys. If you guys have watched this far in the video and you haven't already subscribed on Patreon or become a channel member, that's cool, you don't have to, but there are links down below. You can donate any amount of money, pledge that any month, cancel whenever. I'm completely cool with it. It's just there for you to support me if you'd like to go the extra mile. And I'll go the extra mile for you guys by putting out new amazing content every single day. With that said guys, I really hope you have a good day, night, sleep, bath, time at work, whatever you're up to today. This has been Markee. I'll see you in the next amazing video. Bye.